All right, it's a video of rational function review. The slides are already filled in. I'm just going to go over them. So the horizontal asymptote here, y equal 2. The vertical asymptote, what makes this 0 is a 3, so x equal 3. So you sketch in the horizontal and vertical asymptotes, and then the function follows along on the horizontal and vertical asymptote. The domain, negative infinity to 3, and then there's a break in the graph, and then 3 to infinity. The range, start at the bottom, negative infinity to 2, and there's a break, and then 2 to infinity. Increasing is NA, so this is always decreasing, so negative infinity to 3, and 3 to infinity, same as the domain. Slide 2 is just a review of the functions we studied, 1 over x, and then the opposite is just reflection over the x-axis, 1 over x squared, and then the opposite, once again, is a reflection over the x-axis. Now this is problems about the intensity of light, I equal 12 over d squared. If you're 1 meter away, you plug in a 1, you get 1200. 5 meters away from the light source, you have 5 squared in the denominator, you get 48. And then what happens when we double the distance? So if we go from 1 to 2, then the intensity goes from 12 to 300. So you notice that this is 4 times as less, or 1/4. So if I double the distance, the intensity is 1/4 as much as the original intensity, or the intensity decreases by a factor of 4. You can also see that in the equation itself. If I do 2d here, I get k over 4d squared, and if I compare that with the original, it's 1/4 the intensity. The next slide is about REMS, 625 over d squared. So at 5 feet, you have 625 over 5 squared, which is 25. At 15 feet, you have 625 over 15 squared, which is 2.777 repeating. So what happened to the intensity of radiation when you triple the distance? The radiation was 3 times as much. No, that's not true. It would be 25 to 75. That's not true. Radiation was 3 times less. So if you divide this by 3, you get 8.3 repeating, not 2.778 or 2.7 repeating. The radiation was 9 times. The 9 times 25 would be 225, not this number. So this has to be the right answer. The radiation was 9 times less intense. If you do 25 divided by 9, you do get 2.7 repeating. So the original radiation was 25 rems. When we triple the distance, the radiation becomes 2.77 or 2.7 repeating rems there, or 1/9 of 25, or 9 times less intense. And then problem 3, sketch the graph. Be sure to include the horizontal and vertical asymptotes. So the first thing I did was find the horizontal asymptote right here, -3. What makes the denominator 0 is -5. Since this is a negative, this will be reflected graph here. So you get the branches that look like this, all along on the asymptote, the domain, negative infinity to -5, and then -5 to infinity. The range is negative infinity to -3. increasing. This branch is increasing, negative 5 to infinity, and this branch is decreasing, negative infinity to negative 5. And then how would you write the equation? So look at the asymptote. Here's 1 over x plus 4, because x equal negative 4 is the vertical, and then the horizontal asymptote is negative 1, and then this graph is reflected over the x-axis, so I need to put a negative in there. You can always check with a calculator here, so negative 1 over x plus 4 minus 1. Looks like that. And so the scale is a little bit different, but those are identical. And then for this one, vertical asymptote, x is 6, so x minus 6 squared. Horizontal asymptote, y equal 2, and this is a positive 1 over x squared graph. So we could check it once again. One over x minus 6 squared plus 2. Looks like that. The scale a little bit different, but the graph is the same. Then problem 8, solve for x and show your work. Here I'm checking. This is undefined, so you get extraneous solutions. The first thing you need to do is factor this. The factors of 2 that give me a 3 are 2 and 1. And so looking at the denominators, the LCD is x plus 2 times x plus 1. You want to multiply both sides of the equation by that LCD. And then over here, both of these cancel. I get x minus 1. And then when I distribute this here, the x plus 2 cancels. I get 2x times x plus 1. Then on the right, the x plus 1 cancels. So x minus 1 times x plus 2. Do the distributive property, combine like terms, and then get all the terms on one side. So I have to subtract x squared, subtract x, and add 2. Get x squared plus 2x plus 1. Factor that. Get x equal negative 1. But if I plug that in to either this denominator or that one, it makes a 0. So I just started with this. This should be a negative 1 here, actually. Negative 1 minus 1, I should say. But this is where you're checking anyway. You're checking at the denominators to see if you got any zeros. So I don't have to go any further there because I can't divide by 0. So negative 1 is an extraneous solution. So you could write no solution for that one. And then number 7, or problem 7, or slide 9, you want to factor the denominator again here. Since both of these are the same, I can add the numerators together. So I just did 5 plus x plus 6 here, and then multiplied by the LCD, x minus 1 times x minus 2, both sides. When I do the distributive property, x minus 2 cancels. You have x minus 1 times x plus 4. Over on the right side, both of these factors cancel, and I have 5 plus x plus 6, which is 11 plus x. And then doing the distributive property, combine like terms, and then get 11 plus x over here. So subtract x and subtract 11. Factor this. So factors of negative 15 that give me a 2 are positive 5 and negative 3. So you get x equal negative 5 and x equal 3. So here's the check for 3. The right side and the left side. If I plug in negative 5 for x, wherever there's an x now, I'm going to put a negative 5, see what happens. See if the right and left side check. And it checks. So both of these answers check. It's kind of annoying that this text box is a little bit bigger so you can see everything at the same time. Instead of using this slider here. All right. On this one, you want to factor this denominator's factors of 12 that give you a negative 8 or negative 2 and negative 6. You're going to multiply by the LCD again. And then on the left here, the x minus 2 cancels. You get x minus 6 times x. And then both of these cancel. You get minus 12. Then on the right, x minus 2 cancels. You get 5 times x minus 6. Do the distributive property on both sides. Combine, well, this is there's no combining like terms here. I just subtracted 5x and added 30 to both sides to get this equation. Then the factors of 18 that give you a negative 11 or negative 9 and negative 2. So x equal 9 or x equal 2.